So let me lay out the situation here as we see it. We have the Grand Library of Tsort and Ephebe in the back here. We have our sorcerer. I'll point out each of the players so you guys know who you are. We have our sorcerer, Marco, over here, who has been fanning the flames with his Thunderwave in the main hall of the library. Also in the main hall was our Artificer Gnome over here. And our Druid and our Owlin together escaping through the front. So we've got our Druid and our Owlin Cleric here. And our Rogue, hand in hand with Ellen of Anoia up here. Coming down the staircase. In front of you guys is Impatia, the head librarian, running down the stairs here. And near the staircase as well is Gramata, our very hefty tiefling barbarian with the horns upon her head, hanging out at the bottom of the staircase there. We have Rector, the head of the guard, is this red fellow here. All of these very probably difficult to see on your camera small figurines are civilians or bystanders just running around the environment. As you can see, there are numerous tents or mercantile housing units that are still aflame. So you can see their fire over there. And this is the robed gentleman, Blind Didactylus. Over here, on this side, is the Epheban army. So we've got Emperor Tweedlededalus leading the Epheban army, which is represented by all of these soldiers. And the Sortian army on the other side, over here, led by Rector and Emperor Tweedledumdalus, with their host of soldiers over here. I've got different colors for the archers and different colors for the ground units. So that is, I think, did I miss any of my players? I think I got all 6 of you, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So the two sides are going at each other. Arrows are flying back and forth. This is the edge, by the way, of the giant cliffside of the on top of this. So this rock barrier represents the start of where the cliff is. So once you move to the far side of the cliff, you begin falling off said cliff. So we're obviously staying in this central area here. These are the grand pillars and the grand staircase leading into the library itself. Now we are going to go back into initiative order. So we'll just use that same order that we were using before. And audience, I'll explain a little bit of how combat works, partly for you, but also for our players here. So in combat scenarios, and when I say combat, I don't mean that your character needs to fight. You can do anything you want to do in the situation. But when we are in combat, a little bit stricter rules apply. So in combat, you have 4 aspects to your turn. You have your movement, which is your speed, which is represented on the top of your sheet. You'll see speed. Every square on my grid here is 5 feet. So you can see a little bit more clearly over here. Each square is 5 feet. So if you've got 30 feet of movement, that means you can move 6 squares on your turn. If you have 25 feet, that means you can move 5 squares on your turn. You then have your bonus action, which is like a small additional action. And your character sheet should label if something is a bonus action. If you don't see the word bonus or bonus action, that means you probably just don't have one available, which is fine. You have your regular action, the third aspect of your turn, which is the main thing you want to do on your turn. For spellcasters, that usually implies casting a magical spell. If you are not a spellcaster, that usually means making a weapon attack or using another ability. On your sheet, again, it should say if something is an action. If it doesn't, like your weapon attack, that is, generally speaking, an action. So I know some of you are less familiar. You are more than welcome to ask questions. I know there is a lot to kind of digest on your sheet. And the fourth aspect of your turn is what we call a free action. That is where you can make any check that is not something physical. So you can make a free perception check or an intimidation check. Anything that is vocal or just talking or viewing your environment or learning about something. So you can make a nature check or a deception check or pretty much anything that is not physical in nature. So you couldn't make an athletics check or an acrobatics check since those require movement and action. So with that said, we're going to go right back to where we left off in the order, which I believe was Dewey. Now, Dewey, you're a first-time player. Would you like to hold your turn and see what combat looks like a little more, or do you feel like you're ready to go?
I would prefer to hold my turn if possible.
No problem, no problem. Okay, so Tayatsun, Marco's character. Marco, I believe you've played before, is that right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Marco, you're a little more familiar. Why don't you lead us off? We'll start with Marco's turn. As Tayatsun, you are all the way back here as your sorcerer figure. So what would you like to do on your turn?
I would like to grab a couple books just from the shelves, walk closer to the entrance so I can get to a little closer to where the two parties are kind of about to fight. And I don't know if this party is ready to choose a side yet.
Audience, this is actually a great area for you. What team are you on? Are you Team Tsort, the military team, or are you Team Ephebe, the more philosophical, intellect-based team? Obviously, you know, there are warring factions, so you pick a side, maybe one of your sides will prove victorious. As Marco said, however, his team, or, you know, by team, I mean 6 individuals who have been thrust into a situation together. They are stuck in the middle as well here. So, Marco, you move your full speed, which gets you down to the front entrance of the library. That is the end of your movement speed.
Okay.
You do, however, have your action and your bonus action and a free action.
Yeah. Me personally, well, I should say in character, probably is a little more... I mean, he's kind of an opportunist. He'll just pick a side based on which opportunity seems a little better. So I think he's going to look for Lady Ellen. Is she still around?
She is right in front of you, being dragged by your friendly neighborhood rogue right here.
I look over Arvin's shoulder and I'm just like, Lady Ellen, it seems like we have a choice to make. Which house would you rather preserve?
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm married to both of the emperors, so you're asking me to make a very difficult decision. But I would say that, well, Ephebe has much better technology. They've got ballistas and siege weapons, but Tsort has greater numbers and more military might. So I think I would feel safer with the Tsortians.
Feel safer with the Tsortians. I look at her.
I mean, really, I feel safer with
and I
this
say,
dashing rogue, though.
Then you don't have to stay here. You can come with us. There could be a third option.
Ooh, I mean, I've definitely been in a love triangle before. This is a different kind of love triangle. Intriguing. I don't know if I can say no.
Yeah, back off, Shakespeare.
Let it be all love. A love parallelogram.
I don't know what that shape is. I failed geometry, but it sounds sexy.
You are so charming. So I will. I am going to, let's say. Oh, I was going to basically attack, but I don't think I will anymore. I'm going to, I think, cast invisibility. Ooh. I will cast invisibility, and then I'll use my meta magic to twin it. So that means I'll let me go invisible, and I think I'll let Arvin go invisible.
Ooh, how helpful! Ellen looks around, terrified. Where have my 2 new suitors gone?
Just follow our voices, Lady Ellen.
I still feel your hand. You must have died and gone to Blind Io's castle in the sky, Arvin. I still feel your touch. Guide me, and your beautiful voice, Tayatsun. I'll follow the 2 of you to the ends of the earth. So Tayatsun and Arvin go invisible, so I'm taking them off the screen, and we'll remember where they are. As Ellen seems to be willing to follow you both.
Perfect.
Are you going to end your turn there, Tayatsun, or did you have more you wanted to try?
That is all I wanted to do.
All right, nice job. Now, audience, while this battle is playing out, not only do we want you to choose a side, but there is a bigger problem at hand. As, let's see, whose turn would be next? Next is going to be actually Arvon's turn next. You hear people shouting, "Who started the fire? Why is this happening? Please!" Audience, not only is this a combat situation, it's also a mystery. There's a whodunit going on here. We have met a number of non-player characters, also player characters. I might have a spy in your midst. So there is somebody, we think, or something that started the fire. Now, it might not be a person. It could have been a natural thing. But audience, this is your time to vote and see if you can guide our players to who you think or what you think started this fire. And players, you can check in the comment section if that is helpful to you, and if they have any helpful hints, you can ascribe to them or not. That said, Arvin, you have been newly turned invisible by your somewhat competitor, but now proving himself to be an ally as well. What would you like to do with your newfound invisibility?
So I guess my disembodied hand and all-knowing voice wants to try to convince Ellen to speak with her husbands because there's no point in war and all we'll do is destroy this beautiful library. And would you be able to convince them to stop this fight on your behalf?
I can certainly try. Why don't you roll this could be your free check, unless you have another free check in mind. This could be a persuasion check, and Ellen will give you advantage. Even though she's the one doing it, I always prefer to have my players make the actual roll. So I'm going to give it an advantage on the roll. So persuasion with advantage.
The first roll was just a 4, so I can roll the second one now?
I would if I were you, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's better. 18 plus 3 to 21.
All right.
21 is very good. She booms out her voice using the echo chamber of the kind of archway above the entrance of the library, her position at the top of the stairs, to call out through the madness and say, husbands, please, this is not a cause for war. There need not be bloodshed. Please, we must do something about this situation. We don't need to launch to war so quickly. And the two twin emperors look across the battlefield at one another, and one of them says, brother, we have fought for many years. Our wife, however, speaks true. If your side hadn't shot first, my side would not be forced to retaliate. Brother, it was your side who shot first, and my side that is simply defending itself. And they begin squabbling even more, as they are really not able to get great control over the situation. Ellen, for her part, is doing her best to plead with her husbands, who don't seem to be the smartest tools in the shed at the moment. Blame continues to be lobbed back and forth. Now, Arvin, you still have plenty of your turn left if you would like to try anything else.
I would like to actually start trying to investigate the cause of the fire while I'm invisible.
Okay, good idea. That would require you to head back inside, if that's something you're okay with.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you going to leave Ellen to her own devices, or are you going to take her with you?
I'm going to leave her to her own devices.
Okay. All right. Good news for Tayatsin.
Begin to scoop her up, yes.
Yeah, you invisibly rush over, and you scoop her up, and she cries out, "Woo!" Very surprised that you came out of nowhere.
I want to say...
Yeah, go for it.
I want to say a lady of your caliber shouldn't be using her legs.
She just melts. She doesn't even say anything. She just melts into your arms. Yeah, she's super into that. Meanwhile, Rogue sure. Arvon heads backwards into the library, and Arvon, your action could be roll investigating. You can roll an investigation check.
All right. 14 plus 5, 19.
19, all right. You head back into the library. I put your token down just so we remember that you're back inside. You come to a door, and your investigation leads you to touch the handle of the door, and it is hotter than the other handles that you have been touching. You think that it is probably behind this western door here. You fling that door open, and you rush into some very heavy smoke. There appears to be a couple of pedestrians in the same room as you, who are coughing and choking and sputtering. You can obviously choose to ignore the pedestrians, or you can continue further into the flames to try and suss out the source.
Get them to safety.
All right. You spend the rest of your time ushering these individuals to safety as best you can. Let me see if I can angle up a little bit more. So you're all the way back here in the library, and you start to shove these pedestrians out. Let's see how successful you are. Why don't you roll a survival check? 14. Okay, you're able to usher out one of the pedestrians fully. The other one trips over the doorframe and is lying there. You also notice an artificer gnome in the adjacent room. That's Banksy. Arvon, you believe that the source of the flames is in this sector over here, the western edge of the library. But unfortunately, you've used all of your movement, and that's going to be the end of your turn. Nice job helping some of the people out. We go next to Gramada's turn. Gramada, you are on the outside. Gramada, go ahead and roll me a dexterity saving throw. And I'll tell you why in a moment.
All right. 6.
Ouch. All right. Suddenly, volleys of arrows begin firing from both ends and creating a veritable cloud of arrow bolts raining down from on high. You do your best to dodge out of the way and avoid the archer's arrows, but you are unsuccessful. You get pierced by a number of arrows, taking 7 points of damage.
Ouch.
And that is going to start your turn.
Lovely. All right, I would actually like to use the same spell again, the Thaumaturgy cantrip.
Okay?
But since we're not in a skill check thing, I don't have to roll for it, right?
Correct. You don't have to roll. You just cast it. That's your
Okay.
action.
So I cast my Thaumaturgy, and I yell out, "Listen, everyone! You're assuming that it could be either Tsort or Phoebe, but what about Anoia? It could be Anoia!"
Ooh, interesting. Audience, what do you think? Who done it, audience? You boom out your voice, and suddenly the two sides pause for a moment, and they say, it's the city of Anoia. Interesting. Gramada, you know that Ellen is from Anoia.
Yup.
What?
She
I look
looks
at Ellen.
very-
You wouldn't.
And actually, so is Lord Vorbis.
You notice that Lord Vorbis is nowhere to be found.
The plot thickens.
Ellen looks aghast. No, please, it wasn't me. I'm innocent. Please, my people, I love you. I
She's
would
innocent.
never. Yes, she would never. All right, nice. Gramada, you have some more to your turn. Would you like to do anything else? Movement or bonus action? As a barbarian, you can. As a barbarian, if you like, you can fly into a rage as a bonus action.
I know, but then I'll lose the ability to really think straight. So I'm trying to
That's
control myself before I just start smacking people with abandon.
That is a noble idea.
Yeah, so I guess I'll just start moving towards one of the stalls in the agoraphobia so that next time I can start trying to put fires out.
All right. So we've got this smaller stall here, right in front of you. There's a larger stall here, a little further away, but not too far. Which one? The bigger one or the smaller?
The smaller one.
All right. You head over to this one. You notice a fruit stand on the far side and a merchant trying his best to douse the flames. Please help me, please. Great. Nice job, Gramada. Next up is Banksy. Still inside. Banksy, you're inside the library right over here. You see the rogue come in, investigating something and helping people out. What would you like to do on your turn? You also have a number of magic spells, Artificer, and you also have some infusions and magic items on the second page of your sheet. So you might be able to tinker something that could be useful.
Because I'm inside and I'm near where the source of the flames is, can I use a perception check to see if I can see the source of the flame? Because I also
Yes.
have my researcher ability, where I can, if I don't know what something is, I can find out what it is really quickly.
That is a great use of an ability that you have. So yes, I'm going to let you roll perception, and I'm going to give you advantage on the roll because you have that researcher trait that specifically allows you to know the ins and outs of places like libraries.
Okay, I got a 16 the first one. I dropped it. And a 19 on the second one.
Woo!
And my investigation is a +4. So
that's going to be a 23, right? We take the 19
Yes.
plus 4. All right. That is definitely very good. With your knowledge of research, and this actually works perfectly with your backstory, you notice the door that the rogue had not tried yet, this back door here, is slightly ajar. This is, in fact, the door that you had discovered, that secret bookcase passage that you had investigated earlier with a certain individual. And you rush down into the secret downstairs chamber that you had discovered earlier. And you see a smiling individual sitting upon a desk. Lord Vorbis, sitting, enjoying the chaos unfold outside. Ah, my dear Banksy, my good friend from before, join me. You are not from this land. You have no stake in the life and death of these people, or of this library. You see, my dear, I, as you know, am from the city of Anoia as well. I am no ordinary citizen, however. In a previous life, I had a wife. She was taken from me, kidnapped, stolen, my own property, this woman, my beautiful Ellen, by the twin emperors of the land. I have held vengeance in my heart since that day for this people, this library. I have trekked a great distance from my home to come here and ensure that the cities would burn themselves down. Their own mutual hatred of each other needed but a spark, a literal spark, which I was happily able to provide. Now come, Banksy, join me. Watch as the two greatest powers on the planet wipe each other out.
Can
He
I
opens a seat next to you for you to join him and watch the world burn.
Haha. Well, since I already rushed down there, I can't do much more, but I'd really wish I could throw my dagger.
You can. You have not used an action yet. You've used your
Oh, because I have my dagger, when I throw it, it returns automatically, and it's a 1d4 plus 2.
It's actually your hand axe that returns automatically.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No, that's okay. I know. Yeah, the sheets can be a little confusing.
They're
so,
a little confusing, but yeah, I just want to throw a weapon at him and try to hit him.
All right, good idea. So, in weapon attacks, you roll a d20 first to determine if you hit. You add the number next to the word hand axe, so the attack bonus, which appears to be a +5, right?
Yep, I got an 11. So that's a 16.
16 is going to almost hit. You throw the hand axe at Lord Vorbis, and he throws up a magical shield as a reaction and blocks the hand axe as it comes in. He says, "My dear Banksy, did you think I would come into this fray unprepared or defenseless? I am a powerful mage myself, and should you choose to stand against me, alone especially, you will fall before my might." And he begins to glow, and his robes, his silken foreign robes, begin to billow and glow with a red arcane power as a magic aura and energy surround Lord Vorbis. If he didn't have a villainous enough name, clearly you guys know why I named him Vorbis. He sounds evil. He holds up a magical shield, blocking your hand axe. Your hand axe then returns to your hand. You are surprised. You've never seen somebody do this before. Clearly, this is nobody to be trifled with.
It's on, team. Let's do this.
Meanwhile, outside, the chaos is still unfolding as we move to the next player's turn. Daffodil.
So the fire is still raging in the library? No, right? The fire's out. It's just like tiny little fires at this point, correct?
Exactly. Yep. There's still outside of the agoraphobia. There's some smaller fires, but there's no like imminent destruction happening.
So the library is a safe place at this point.
Yes, certainly from the war going on outside.
Yes. Okay. Perfect. All right. So now I'll be Daffodil. I just wanted to check. All right. So, I've healed up my new friend Dewey, who I now trust wholeheartedly because, look at her. So I'm like, Dewey, I think we should go inside. Like, I'm not trying to get involved in this. I don't know about you. I know we just got out here, but I think we should move back in. And I'm going to go in. You don't have to follow me, but I'm going back inside the library to evade the chaos.
Okay, so you retreat back further into the library, hopefully to be followed on her turn by Dewey. You move 30 feet, which is your full movement speed. That gets you into the main hall back here, wherein you can see a door open and a great amount of smoke billowing. I'll give you a free perception check unless you wanted to do another free check.
No, I want to do a perception check.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm gonna roll a perception. Oh, I got a 20.
A natural 20. All right. So your perception, your druidic senses are honed now that you are in a quieter, more stable environment. And you can see the rogue, who you haven't really met yet, but you saw him around the library earlier, battling through some thick flames. From downstairs, you can see a door open to the west, and you can hear the sounds of yelling and angry battle. You can hear what sounds like a battle axe hitting a target, and some loud obscenities being shouted out.
Oh, I draw it.
Scimitar, yes.
I draw it and raise my wooden shield in preparation, but I do not go towards it because I can't move anymore, right?
You can't move anymore, but yes, you can draw your
Yeah.
weapons, definitely. Great, all right, nice job. So you are pretty aware that there is something going on down there as we move on to our next player, who is Dewey. So Dewey, do you follow along or do you head in the other direction?
I would like to follow along, but I'm feeling uncharacteristically petty, partly been pushed over the edge by impatience, and I'm feeling like all of this chaos is a good opportunity for me to go ahead and steal her glasses.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Why don't you roll a sleight of hand check as you swoop down to Impedia and try to steal her glasses?
That's an
Chaos is the
18
ladder.
plus 2.
A dirty 20, we call it. That is a success. Impedia is completely unaware of your stealthy presence as you swoop down and scoop her glasses up in your talons. These are, in fact, goggles of minute seeing. They are a semi-magical item that allows you to have advantage on perception checks and investigation checks. So once you don these glasses, you suddenly see your already keen owl-like senses get honed even further. You are able to see and investigate with great expertise.
Nice.
All right, as you emerge into the chaos on the staircase, I'm going to have you roll a dexterity saving throw. Yet more arrows are lobbed overhead.
I have a 6.
Oh, unfortunately, you are not able. You are too busy stealing from your boss, as all of us have wanted to do at one time or another, let's be serious, to avoid any of the arrows raining down. You take 6 points of piercing damage, 6 points of damage, as arrows strike through your feathers, and you are kind of like pinned down to the ground, and you lose your flight for a moment. I mean, you're not disabled, but you do fall to the ground for a moment as the warring factions are starting to kind of get on your nerves. I mean, now you're kind of caught up in this scuffle that you wanted nothing to do with. All right, anything else you would like to try on your turn?
Oh boy, I didn't think this far ahead.
That's okay. You can head to the next person, and you can just kind of let it unfold a little bit. That's fine. I don't know if you guys saw the chat, but Jonathan Gruber believes that the fire was started by a rogue fart and the spark of destiny.
Can I cure my own wounds? Or is that
you can,
for
yeah.
somebody else?
You can cure your own wound. Yes, you can cast Cure Wounds on yourself. And so as much as you want to heal, you can heal 1d8 plus your spellcasting modifier, which is, let's see, 1d8 plus 2. Or if you really want a lot of healing, you can cast it at 2nd level and gain yourself 2d8 plus 2. So it depends how much healing you want to do for yourself.
I should just go for more.
Sure. So you're going to roll 2d8, which is this dice here, this die. And you're going to add your wisdom modifier, which is plus 2.
Okay, I rolled 7 total, plus 2.
All right, so that means you heal 9. So if you can't go above your maximum hit points. So if you had less than 9, you're just back to whatever your maximum was. So yes, you're back up to full. Good job, nice healing. Clerics are very, very adept at healing. That's kind of their primary function a lot of the times in a party. So good impulse there. Arvon, our rogue, still invisible, hanging out here by the mass of flames. You see that gnome rush by you and head downstairs into another chamber. What do you do?
Oh boy. And that's the one who attacked before, correct? Or had the magical shield?
The gnome, no, you didn't see the shield come up. The gnome was just another library goer, and they ran down the stairs. You didn't really have too much interaction with that person.
Okay.
But you do know, based on your investigation check from before, that the door that they ran through was, it seems, where the source of the flames was coming from. Like, that's where the smoke is thickened.
All right, I'll look in there.
All right, you head down, and if you have a bonus action you want to use, great. If you don't have a bonus action in mind, you can actually dash as a bonus action, which means you can move double your speed. So you don't have to do that. I'm just letting you know that that is an option for you.
Would I get to do something else if I dash, or would that be it?
Yep, so rogues are very quick. You can dash as a bonus action, and you can still make an attack or do another action.
All right, I'll dash then.
All right, so you rush down the stairs. Using about half of your speed, you make it down to the bottom of the staircase, and you see the gnome embroiled in a battle with Lord Vorbis. a gentleman you had seen wearing these exotic silks. You didn't really have much interaction with him, but you rush down, you see the two of them fighting. Do you say anything, or what do you do?
Is my ally within 5 feet of the Lord Vorbis?
Your ally is not. You're asking for sneak attack purposes, right?
Yes. Okay.
No, unfortunately, your ally is not within 5 feet at the current moment.
Okay.
She decided to stand back and throw her battle axe.
Okay. I will sneak up behind him.
Okay, I will let you make a stealth check, and if you succeed on the stealth check, if you roll higher than me, then you will gain your sneak attack bonus.
Do I get any modifiers for being invisible?
Oh, that's right. You know what? You are invisible. You automatically get sneak attack because you're invisible. Thank you for reminding me.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. Then I'll go for the sneak attack.
All right. So you invisibly rush up behind this foe, and he doesn't see you coming, thereby giving you your sneak attack. So you go ahead and you roll an attack roll with a d20, and you're going to roll 2 times because you have advantage. I'm going to move the dungeon camera so we can see Vorbis' side a little bit more. All right, so you sneak up there and go ahead and make that roll with advantage.
All right, so rolling. First roll is an 11. Go for the second. As a 3, I'll take the 11. And then, let's see. I also, with my sneak attack, I add 2d6 damage, I guess.
Right, well, first we have to see if you hit. So is the 11 total, or did you add... You have a short sword and a dagger, right?
Yeah, it was just a natural 11, so I would say I'll attack with the sword.
Okay, so that's going to add a +4, making it a 15. That is not going to hit because his magical shield is still up.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the shield blocks you from hitting him, and your invisibility is undone. You are now revealed, and Vorbis turns to you and says, "Another interloper has joined the fray, foolishly picking the wrong side." Do you say anything in response?
Uh-oh.
Right. Okay, well, nice try. This guy is clearly not to be trifled with.